Good morning, Rabbi Isai. First, we'll start off with the simchas. Mendi, Euerbach, Mazel Tov. Simen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simen Tov. Yes, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov. Even though we had a wedding last night, he's here to learn Torah. Mazel Tov. Klal Yisroel is saddened to hear the passing of the great Mashgiach, Rav Solomon, who's nifter. And I try to put in a nice clip where he talks the 10th Siyum, global Siyum. He speaks beautifully about the Daf Yomi. I know people that started the Daf because of his speech at that Siyum. So I don't know if we'll be able to throw it in. If you also throw in a clip or something.
Tonight, Atem Nitzovim, if we want to make a resolution, it is to make a resolution that our homes will be filled with Torah. Not only the shiurim that we learn with a shir in public, we'll bring the learning of Torah into our, we'll prepare a shir and we'll revise a shir. We'll learn with our children. We'll find moments to fill our homes with Torah.
The Shoma should have an Aliyah. It should be a Mazel Tov for all of us. 2 emails. I would like to thank you for the amazing shiurim. I love it very much, and I've been your Talmud from the day I bought my smartphone. I have a few heroes additions on some of the stuff you recently mentioned. Now, I have a feeling that a lot of this email is not 100% emes.
Don't read it.
No, the story you said about the Ingeman that went over to help a lady goes that when he saw it's his wife, he asked, "Are you on your way home?" It was the story with the guy who wanted to do chesed. He saw a woman schlepping heavy packages, and then he noticed it's his wife. So he goes over and says, "Are you on the way home?" She said, "Yeah. Can you please take home my talis bag also?" And off he went. You said that story of the Rosh Hashiva asking for a ride home. I heard a different version. It's a famous one. The Rosh Hashiva slipped on the snow, so he shouted to his Talmud, "Can you please help us to get up?" So the Talmud answered, "You can help each other get up." You recently mentioned about the danger of letting the children watch. I can say that children are addicted to watching your belly, as this is the only thing that my filter lets through. I hope this is okay, and they'll not beg tomorrow for Uncle Moish. I know they won't because you're much better. Wow. Wishing you all the best. Berichnis Begashmias. Meyer Feldman, Kiers Yoel Monroe. P.S. I don't really reside in Monroe, but thought I'll have a higher chance of to read you my email because it's your favorite place.
Very good.
Now, I was choished that maybe his name is not really Meyer Feldman because it's spelled M-I-E-R. So, ich weiß nicht. I know they call you Yerushalayim to America. At least we should make it our next Shabbaton there. Fine. Dear Rebelli, I'm here 4 years. I started learning the Daf 4 years ago when I was wondering whether to start the Daf. All my Rebbeim and friends all said don't do it. Basically they gave him different reasons. Will not pass Shabbos. The Kitzer, he's at a wedding, decided he's going to start right away on January 5th of 2020. Kitzer, now he basically didn't even miss a single daf. Blah, 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 blah. The most I fell behind was 1 daf since Brooklyn, and all the people told me did not start shocked. One thing for sure, the daf changed my life. Anonymous. P.S. We met around 3-4 times. I'm Moshe Pluchak's shir. Moshe Pluchak, very good friend, very, very choshev yid, a Rav and a Magid shir. The Masechta is sponsored for the unity of Am Yisrael. The Paras HaChodesh Yosef ben Chaya Sara for the zchusim that come from supporting limud HaTorah. Parnas HaChodesh Yedidya Pereira, lezchut zivug hagam bקרוב, Chana Rochel bas Michal, Chayim David ben Shulamis, ושושנה ברכה bas Shulamis. Parnas HaChodesh Chvoid Rav Noam, Avi, Gary, Yosef for your relentless commitment to MDY. Parnas HaChodesh, Lilinish Mazachai ben Moish, Lilinish Mazachai bas Yosef. Parnas HaChodesh, Ahron Fraiman, it should be a zchus for rebellion to continue Siyat Shmai and teaching Torah to Klal Yisroel. Parnas HaChodesh, Lilinish Maz Kol Chayalei Tzahal Shenaflu Al Kiddush Hashem. Where's that piece of paper you're supposed to give me? In memory, you don't have to get up, you can pass it over, it's fine. Paras Hayoim, in memory of my great grandfather Moshe ben Avram. No, that can't be. Whose Yortzeit is today? It says Moshe ben Avram Moshe. So I'm assuming it's Moshe ben Avram. Whose Yortzeit is today? Svardi. Okay, Moshe ben Avram Moshe. So we'll do it for two. Moshe ben Avram Moshe and Moshe ben Avram. Moshe ben Avram. What does it say here? Rafal Moshe ben Dina Bracha L'Rfuah Shleima. Rafal Moshe ben Dina Bracha L'Rfuah Shleima. David Racheli Mitnick in honor of the Chasana today of Mordechai Cohen and Malka Mitnick in Baltimore. Mazel Tov. Israel should be zoichet to build a bais nemon Am Yisrael. Israel and Stephen Perlich. Yortzeit of Binyamin Reb Shmuel Binyamin Perlich. In memory of Tuvio ben Menashe on his 8th Yortzeit. By anonymous, in honor of Mendy Oyerbach and the marriage of his son Eliezer Tayela, they should be zoichet to bring you and Klal Yisroel nachas. Anonymous. Mr. Anonymous, he thanks you. Shkoyach. Maybe it's Leon. Maybe it's Leon. Yochanan Adler, L'Rfuah Shleima, Batsheva Basil, Bracha, a 9-year-old girl getting heart transplant. L'Rfuah Shleima. Parnas Hayoim with Hakores Atoiv to a Kabbalah that Yitzchok Elimelech ben Tzivya Miriam Peril is in rehab. All right. Rabbi, I have a question for you.
The artist sponsored again.
Oh, the artist sponsored. Beautiful. By who? Anonymous.
For zchus for easy childbirth for his daughter and a healthy baby.
For zchus, easy childbirth. For his daughter and a healthy baby. What happens after the birth and after the baby is mamish healthy? What do we say then? We'll have to figure it out.
Avi, did you tell him you doubled what it cost?
Really?
No.
Okay. Rabbi Yisai, here's the question. I want you to think about it because at the Chasana yesterday I was asking a bunch of people and I got different answers. Very interesting. A guy shows his friend an old dilapidated shtreimel that he found in the mikvah maybe. He says he paid for it $100. Shows him a shtreimel, $100. So his friend's like, very nice, very nice. He turns around, pulls out a match, and he always had a taiva to burn a shtreimel. He said, $100. You thought a shtreimel costed $2,000. Here's a $100 shtreimel. For $100, it's worth it. He burns the shtreimel to a crisp. It turns out, Rabbi said, check this out. This is a true story. The shtreimel of Reb Chaim Kanievsky was sold for $1.8 million. You can imagine what it looked like. It came from Eliashiv. It's an old shtreimel. This guy that bought it didn't want, his friends to know how much it cost. He said it's $100. The guy went and destroyed a $2 million shtreimel, $1.8 million shtreimel. The question is, let's say that's the value. I'm not going to go into detail. Oh, he overpaid. Let's say it was an antique car. He told his friend it's worth $100. It's actually worth $2 million plus, and his friend burnt it to a crisp. How much is the friend chayav? $100? Because that's what the owner told him it's worth? Or he has to pay him the real value of $1.8 million for Reb Chaim Kanievsky's shtreimel. $100. Some say 100. Does anybody say 1.8? Anybody? I would go to Reb Schomburg. I would go to Reb Mendy. He learned the sugya. Rabbi said the answer is 1.8. It doesn't matter how much the guy told you. You have no right burning his shtreimel. You're a mazik b'yadayim. You do it as much as it hurts. But if you pause for a second, you think about it.
Is it a tamun?
Why is it a tamun?
Tamun because it's hidden.
The price is hidden.
It's hidden in the shtreimel. How much is it?
There's no ruchni stick a tamun. That's a ruchni stick a tamun.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I said I'm not getting into the details.
Oh, you know what he's saying? It's massive.
He says
it's not tamun. Because it's massive b'yadayim, it's not tamun.
I don't understand the svar, but okay. But he's saying good. He's saying that it was sold in an auction, and an auction has a certain value. But I'm saying even without that, there are certain things that have value and people don't know about. Okay.
It's tamun, exactly.
Rabbi says, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Glenn Beck? Black. From London? South Africa, Johannesburg, another one. You came in for the wedding? No shaykhis. Beautiful. Okay, welcome. Rabbi say, here we are. Let me ask you the same question though. Does the same thing apply if you tell somebody, watch my Streimel, it's only cost $100, watch it, $100. Nachman, listen to this question. I know you're I hear.
About this.
Yeah.
Amud Beis.
It's unbelievable. Here's the same exact question, but slightly different. I say, could you please watch my Streimel? I just bought it for $100. Please watch it. And then you put it on the windowsill and somebody grabs it. Somebody steals it. How much are you chayav? $100 or 1.8 million? So the answer is 1.8. It cost him 1.8. He told the shomer chinam, let's say, he told him it's only $100. He didn't want to scare him. He says $100. So the guy goes, he's slightly negligent. He puts it by the window, open window, puts it by the windowsill. Somebody comes by, grabs it. So the answer is, in that case, he's only chayav $100. Why? Because he's a shomer and he only accepted upon himself a shmira of $100. So let's see it in the sugya. Here, we're getting to it right now. Tana Rabbanon, we're holding 3 lines from the bottom of Samach Aleph Amud Beis. Tana Rabbanon Madik HaGodesh Voy Boy Kelim Medolku. We have the situation of the Godish. You have a box, as you can see here, full of gold, and he goes and he lights the Godish on fire. So we have a machloikis. Rabbi Yehuda Oimer Mishalem Kol Mashayu B'Soichai. If there's gold, you pay gold. You only pay the value of the wheat or the barley. But here's the chiddush. It's a kicker. We mentioned it yesterday. You see that 1 by 1 box in there? That 1 by 1 box, it's not that you don't have to pay for that volume of wheat. You have to pay as if that 1 by 1 box was wheat. Okay, so you pay $1 instead of $10,000. Now, Samach Beis Amud Aleph on top. As we had yesterday, this is referring to a case where you started the fire in your own backyard and it traveled to your next door neighbor. But if you went into your friend's backyard and deliberately started a fire over there, you must pay everything. Although yesterday we learned that according to Rava, you don't pay everything. Things that are the derech to put inside the bale of hay, you have to pay. But things that not, you don't have to pay. Things like money, people don't usually bury money in a bale of hay. So even if you went, according to Rava and Chacham, even if you went inside there, into your friend's backyard and you lit it, I'm fine. You're patur because Taman is patur beige. Again, things, remember like the yoke of the cow that you typically hide inside that you're chayiv. Not a arniki, not the wallet. And Rabbi Yehuda agrees to Chachamim. You allow your friend to come into your yard and put down his bale of hay. And his friend, not only he took advantage, not only did he put a bale of hay, but he also put his cash in there. Even Rabbi Yehuda, who says that typically you have to pay for tamon, for hidden stuff. Over here you don't have to pay. Why? Because the owner allowed you to come in and put a bale of hay. He didn't allow you to come in and put a bale of hay plus a plier and a this and a that. Kalim not. He only accepted upon himself to watch, to make sure the shmira on the bale of hay was for the hay and not for Kalim. Oh, so now we're going to have 4 cases, and all 4 cases have the same outcome. You pay the smaller amount. So, 1 case at a time. I allow the person to come in and put in expensive wheat. He goes and he puts in inexpensive, less expensive less expensive barley. And I wasn't careful. I wasn't doing my job to watch what I thought was chitim, but really ended up being soirim. A pile of chitim is $100. A pile of barley is $50. So his $50 got destroyed, stolen. How much do I have to pay him? 50. I told him he could put in 100, but he didn't put in 100. So I only have to pay what he put in, which is 50. 1 more case. Soirim, I gave him permission to put in $50. But he put in $100 worth of stuff. And I was negligent and it got stolen. So how much do I have to pay him? $50, because I only gave him permission to come in with 50. Here, we have a nice picture for this. It's a pile of wheat. The guy goes and wants to pretend he doesn't want people to steal it. So what does he do? He takes a box of barley and he covers the top. Covers the top. I don't know why. I think I said the story and nobody cared about the story. I'll say it again. When I was a kid in Bnei Brak, we got upset at somebody or whatever. We were in a little bit of a fight. So we came up we devised a plan on Shabbos to dig a hole in one of these mountains that we used to play on, like a dirt mountain. We dug a hole on Shabbos, Leilenu, before our bar mitzvah, and we filled it up with sid, like this white plaster. And then we sprinkled a little bit of dirt on top. And then we, one of us, not me, Chas v'shalom, pulled the guy's ear or something. And then we ran like above this thing. And the guy ran after us and he fell into this pit on Shabbos. His whole suit was full of white, the whole thing. So sometimes you cover the top with something else and it looks as if it's something else. So over here, it's unbelievable. On the spot, I get marks for the stories and the jokes. It's beautiful. Cannot write this story in my book. He had a pile of wheat and the guy covered it with barley. Or fakert, the opposite. It was a pile of barley and he pretended it was expensive. It was made of chitim. So the halacha is you only pay for the barley. Either the guy thought it's barley because it was covered with barley, so that's all he took upon himself to watch, or it really is barley, and that's all he has to pay is barley. So, but kids, the bottom line is you always pay the lesser of the two. Omar Rava. Here we go. This is the story. Hanoisen dinar zov li isha v'omar lo hizari boy shel kesefu. He gives a woman a bar of gold or some jewelry gold. He says, you see this white stuff? This is not white gold. This is called silver. If she damages it with her hands, mishalem is dinar zav. Even though she doesn't know what it is, if she goes and she damages it, the same story with the shtreimel. The guy thought that was the lesser, it was $100 and he destroyed it. Over here also, he gave her this ring and he says, it's made out of silver. He lied to her, but it's really gold. She has to pay for the gold. Why? He tells her, who told you, who asked you? You have no permission to damage my stuff. That's usher to do. And the fact that you thought it's this and not that, that's your problem. But if she was just a shomer, and she was negligent, pasha boy, mishalem mishal kesef. Since she only accepted upon herself the lesser value of silver, so since she was negligent, she only pays silver. Damrale, because she tells him, "Nitirusa the kasmi kabilei, I accepted upon myself to watch something that was silver. Nitirusa the hava like kabilei, to watch something that's made out of gold, I never accepted upon myself, and therefore, yes, I was negligent, but I was only negligent because I thought it was silver, and that's all I have to pay." You say this based on Rava. Rava is an Amoira. He comes and he said halacha. Okay, anan mimasnisa pshitalan. We knew this from a brisa from the Tanaim still. Now what? We learned it a minute ago. If he was fooled, there was a pile of wheat which is expensive, and it was covered with one layer of barley. Or the opposite, so'irim is a pile of barley, v'chibam b'chitin, and there's a very small layer of wheat. And he's a shomer. He's trying to watch this. And he looks at the pile. He says, "Oh, this is a pile of barley because there's a small layer of barley." He thought that that's what he accepted upon himself. He only has to pay that amount. I don't need to come to Rava. I know this halacha about the shtreimel and about the antique sports car and the story of a golden ring that was told to the woman that it's silver. I see it from this halacha, that if I see something in front of me, I see a pile of barley, because that's what I think it is, but really it's a pile of wheat, which is much more valuable. I only have to pay for the pile of barley, because that's all I was makabel shmira. Alma, why? Because I'm related to the Sari kabilei. The Sari, I was only accepting upon myself to watch barley. So here too in our case with the gold and the silver, I never accepted by myself to watch gold.
That's not the same with the stripe. You never asked him to do anything. He lit it up.
So it's even worse. It's Mazel Tov. Yeah, Mazel Tov.
If he was a shomer and you.
Okay, but you agree that if you're a shomer, you have to pay. If you do it biyadayim, she destroys the gold ring. She has to pay the value of the gold ring. You agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so the shrine will certainly.
Correct.
Okay, so it's even better.
Correct.
Okay, it's worse. So you're saying that I'm right. I'm not only right, I'm very, very, very right. Okay, I love being very, very, very right.
You're asking that to take on a shmira, and he should know what it's worth because that's going to influence the level of shmira that he does.
Right.
You're right.
I would not bring a raya from the shtreimel to the watching, but one from the other you could learn. Okay, fine. Here. Omar Rav. Shamas Milsel Rabbi Yehuda v'Leidan Amayim. Rav. The first Amoira. He says, I heard this halacha from Rabbi Yehuda. In the halacha of Rabbi Yehuda, that what? There's no tamun. There's no. If somebody burns a bale of hay and inside there's valuables, you do have to pay. I heard something, and I don't remember what I heard. Omar Shmuel, famous contemporary Shmuel. What? You don't remember Abba? Called Rav Abba. He says that you're chayiv. Asu takonas nigzal be'ishay. The halacha is, if somebody steals something, and then we catch him, but we don't know exactly what he stole. We don't know. So we could force him to swear. We force the one that the object was stolen from, the nigzal. He says he stole $1 million. We don't know. We know that this guy stole. It's lost now. So $1 million, it seems a little exact. They swear that it's $1 million, and the ganav has to pay him $1 million. So Maisa Shahaya Kachaya, I said the story a while ago. I'm not going to say it with any. It was in a story in a restaurant in Los Angeles. But it's a gevaldik Maisa Shahaya. Really, every single part of it is Maisa Shahaya. We left a certain restaurant in Los Angeles, and my wife, as we get into the car, my wife says, "Oh, I left my purse in the restaurant." Go back to the restaurant, and the purse is gone. So I said, "Who's the owner?" I speak to the owner. I said, we were here 3 minutes ago, and the purse is gone. He says, what do you want me to do? I can't do anything about it. It's gone. I said, what do you mean what you do? You have cameras everywhere. Let's see who took it. No, you can't do that. It's the camera's not working. Is that all? I said, listen, you have the cameras. Go. Why can't you help me out? He said, no. I said, look, yeah. If you don't go look at the cameras, I'm going to do something here that you're not going to like. So he didn't trust me. So I got onto a chair. He didn't believe me. So I got into the chair. I said, ladies and gentlemen. So everybody stopped. Said, there's a thief here. There's a guy, somebody's stealing stuff from people. He says, stop. I'll look. Okay. He goes up to his office. I'm telling you, Maisa Shaya, every part of it. He used to be a little crazy. Not today. I wouldn't do something like that. He goes to his office. He comes right back down 2 minutes later. He says, I saw something weird on the camera. You're right. The lady that cleaned your table, right as she cleaned the table, she took the garbage outside. So let's look outside. So he takes one of his guys. There's a big dumpster. He jumps into the dumpster and he's looking and look, he can't find anything. I said, no, you're going to look again. Kitzer, finally, he finds a bag within a bag. My wife's purse was in there. So he takes out the purse and we go through it to see that everything's there. Sure enough, everything was there besides the cash. So they make a little meeting. The woman that cleaned the table that stole the purse, the guy that jumped into the dumpster, and they make a little meeting. They huddle. They come back. Okay, listen. She claims she didn't steal a purse, but she knows that you think she did, and you're going to go to the police, and you're going to deport her, and the whole thing. She doesn't want to make a big deal out of it. So you say how much was in the purse, and she'll pay you. Now I know that I gave my wife $100 that morning, and she spent $8. So we had $92. So I look at her with a straight face. I say, "There's $150 in the purse." So she says, "No, 92." Maisa shahaya kachaya. Emes lamita. Seriously. So when something is stolen, why is it a gear? Something is stolen. You can ask my wife. My wife would not lie. I would, but my wife not. So for a good story, maybe I would. I hear it. In the story I even lied. I'm even saying a story I lied. Okay. So Maisa shahaya. Now. There's a geschmacka part to the end of the story. So I told my brother the story. He lives in Los Angeles. The following week, his wife goes to the supermarket, and over there they help you out, and they put your groceries in the car. She turns around, and her purse is gone. So she goes back home. She goes inside, this, that. They give her a whole thing, so she goes back home. So my brother comes to the store. He says, "Where's my wife's purse? Look at this." And the guy gives him this whole spiel. He can't, this, that. They try to protect him because they need these workers. So my brother remembered what his older brother did. He gets up on the chair. He starts screaming, "Ladies and gentlemen, there's thieves here. There's still." You guys just stop. And he gave him the purse. He went to the back and he got the purse back. Mazel Tov. So you could try it. You could say, Eli Stefansky said, you stand on the chair, you scream, you make a big... If you didn't learn anything today, at least you learned this, Rabbi Isai. Nah. Okay, Zokti Gemara. So it's called Takonas Nigzal. What's Takonas Nigzal? We don't know how much is stolen. We can't trust the thief, so we trust the guy that was stolen. How much? And I believe the Rishonim say in other things in the Sugi that it's all within reason. If there's a guy we know that for a living he makes $20,000 a year, he can't say that the guy stole $500,000 from him. It's all within. Okay. Boya Meimar. Also Takonas Nigzal b'Maser Eli. A Meiser. One of the most hated things in Klal Yisroel, a guy that goes and tattles on somebody, goes to the authorities, cause him a monetary loss. Now, I want to go to Bezdin and say, this guy called up the authorities on me, and because of him, I lost XYZ, $20,000. There's something called Garmi. Rabbi Isai, not to get all excited, it's very similar to Grama. According to Rashi, it's the same exact thing. According to the Rishonim, it's similar. The point is, you cannot take somebody to Bezdin because they made a phone call to the authorities, and the authorities came down, and because of that, they made you close down your shop, and they made you tear down your house. It was just a phone call. I didn't tear down your house. I called the authorities, and the authorities did it. That's Garmi. So if you cannot sue somebody over that, you can't go to Bezdin for that because it wasn't direct. The Messiah is not like Danina. So a guy that's a Moiser, I can't do anything about it. Let Hashem take care of it. But the question will be, according to the other man, I could take somebody to Bezdin for indirect damage. So the question is, could I swear in Bezdin that the damage was $20,000? That's how much it cost me to renovate and this and that. Or yes, it was illegal, and the guy had a snitch on me, and because of him, I lost all that. But whatever the case is, halachically, that it's considered a moiser, okay? Teiku. I don't know. Now, since it's a monetary teiku, we have a moiser who caused me $10,000 damage. Can I sue him? How much do I get? It's a teiku. But what do I do now? Teiku means I wait for Mashiach. I wait for Eliyahu Navi, but I need my money today. So some Rishonim say by a teiku that happens to be with mamanis, yachloiku. 50%. In Bezdin. Exactly.
You don't know?
Exactly. So what do? 50-50.
That's halacha.
Some Rishonim say yeah, and some Rishonim say no. That's too bad. Exactly. I'm telling you a chiddush here. A teiku in mamanis. The Rishonim talk about it.
We pass him like that? What's the psak? What's the halach l'mais?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sure you can't.
How much mechaber levaraya? Proud. Okay. Oh, Gavra. Rabbi Isai Ma'aseh Shoyahu Gavra the botash because paso the chavrei. I have a great. Yoshi put it together. A beautiful picture here. The guy kicks a safe into the river. Look what happened to his toe. It's not a zegishmak. But now, obviously, it's not a safe. And when it means safe, it means more like a cash box. Shadi ben Aharo, he threw it into the river. Now he sues the guy that kicked it, and he says, I had $100,000 in there. He says, okay, what should we do? What do we do in this case? Isn't that our Mishnah? The Snan. That if you torch a mansion, you have to pay everything inside. If you swear that this is what you had inside, we have that today with insurance companies. They don't know what was stolen. They have to there's a lot of trust going on, and I had this much jewelry, this much silver. You have to bring receipts, but you don't have receipts for everything. So what do? You swear, and you take, because why? The Mishnah says this is normal for people to have nice things in their house. Says the Gemara Amalei. If I said I had $100,000 in there, that's normal to have $100,000 in a cash box. But over here he's saying it's like, one of those registers in a store. You typically don't have jewels in there. You have a lot of cash. You're coming from the store. In those days, they didn't have the buttons and everything, but they had a cash box. This is where I take my change from. So I'm saying, no, I had a diamond in there. Do people put diamonds in these boxes or not? I don't know. The person says, I had a silver cup. Grada, I thought that we're going to have a beautiful guest today, Akiva Solkowitz. So I just happened to bring this, but it's here anyway. So he's not here. He's here in Eretz Yisrael somewhere. I was hoping he was going to come today to this year. He gave me this as a gift. Now, if I say I had this in my house, it's a nice piece. Not everybody has this. So it depends. If you're a Magid Shir, we can trust you.
Who says things which are?
Yeah. By the way, Maisa Shaya at the Chasana yesterday. I did Hagalas Kalim with a guy, the famous Yochanan Itzkowitz, that helped us out tremendously at the Shabbaton. And a woman came in there with 6 not so good looking bechers, like yellowish stuff. So I start putting in. She goes, no. What are you doing? These are gold, 100% gold, pure gold. She had 6 bechers this size, pure gold. So I sent a message to Yochanan yesterday. I said, do you remember that story? Am I making it up? He says, yeah, I was there with you, and yeah. Fine. At the wedding, Mendy's Mechutin's brother is from Chicago. You didn't tell me that, by the way. Ari Cohen, good friends with him.
We had the engagement, you would have known.
Okay, I'm done with the story. Okay, so anyways, Ari Cohen's son-in-law comes over to me and says, have regards from Shmuel Zaks, the guy from you once did Hagalas Kalim in this, that was Shmuel Zaks. He says, you got your first job from him. I'm like, I was just talking about him here. Here's the WhatsApp message that we're talking about Shmuel Zaks and the Hagalas Kalim place. Anyway, this is worth a little less now. Okay, says the Gemara. So, I say I had a beautiful silver cup in the house that you torched. We look. If he's a wealthy guy, this like cost the kaspas may make sense. He's a person that people trust. And other people entrust him with expensive silver. Today everybody has a becher, right? Then you could just swear and take. But if he's not that kind of guy, so each person depending on the situation. Here we go. Rabbi Isai, here's a gazlan. A gazlan is somebody that comes in in broad daylight and steals from you. Here's a chamsen. A chamsen, if you see in his left hand, he has cash. The guy that's being held up in the air has a gold watch behind his back. And he says, listen, you give me the gold watch, and here I'll beat you up. Here's a bunch of cash. Says the Gemara, Omalei chamsen yoiv dmei. A chamsen gives him cash for what he steals. Gazlan lo yoiv dmei. A gazlan doesn't give cash. He doesn't pay. If he gives money, you call him a chamsen. If you hang somebody and torture him until he says, or until he sells it to you, it's considered a sale. So why do you call him a chamsen? He's not a ganav. Now, he might be a very bad guy for doing this, and the Rambam says he's over on Lisachmoid, he's over on Isum Deraisa, and all the Muslim Sfarim will yell at you, you don't do that, you don't force somebody to sell you something. But he's not a ganav. Don't call him a ganav. Don't call him a chamsen, which is part of Gneva. Loikashit. If a guy says, I agree to sell, great, then it's a sale. Then he's then Tului V'Zavin Zvina Zvina, then it's a regular sale. But a chamsen, the guy doesn't say roitzani. There's a Mori the Gemaisa. You'll come up with your own conclusions at the end. There's a guy that was a diamond dealer, and he bought a bunch of diamonds. He gets on the train, and he's going somewhere far, back in the day, and he notices that there's a guy that followed him the street as he was buying the diamonds. He followed him onto the train, and sure enough, the guy comes off the train with him. So they come to the inn, and the owner of the inn says, sorry, I only have one room left. So one roof. So there's no choice. They have to share a room. In the middle of the night, the Ganav gets up and starts searching through all the stuff. And he can't come up with any of the diamonds. So in the morning, he says, listen, I got to tell you the truth. I'm a ganav. I've done this trick 1,000 times. I have a deal with the owner of the inn. He has a lot of rooms that are available. But when he sees me, he says no rooms available. He puts me in the room with the other guy. And in the middle of the night, I get up and I go through everything. I find it every time. Tell me, where did you hide these diamonds? You got to tell me. So the guy says, you know where I hid the diamonds? I hid them in your pocket. Because that's a place that I know you're not going to search. What's the Musar Haskell? I have no clue. Sometimes, we'll make one up. Sometimes the Yeshua comes from the least expected place. Sometimes, that kid of yours, the most lo yitzlach kid, he's the one that brings you the most nachas. Sometimes the deal that you thought is the worst deal in the world, that's the one that brings you the most. Yeah, in my real estate also, the one deal that I thought was the worst deal, I bought it. It's my most mutzlach deal. Says the Mishnah. The Eli Mishnah sponsored by Moshe Cohen. You come up with your own thing. Gates, sponsored by Moshe Cohen, Latzloch and Ruchnis and Gashmis. Gates, a spark. Shiyotz medachas a patish, which came from a hammer, vihizik, and caused great damage. It created a fire. Chayav, that's your responsibility. It's your chait, it's your mummin, whatever you want to call it. Gamal, shoyatom pishno, we had to sugya twice. A camel that was full of flax. V'avar b'shus harabim, he went in a public thoroughfare. V'nichnas pishtono l'teicha chanot, and he overloaded the camel, so the flax went into a store, and in the store there was a candle, there was a fire. V'dolku b'neiro yishachemini, and it lit up in fire. V'edlik sabira, and then the camel continues to walk and burns down a house. Bal gomel chayav, the owner of the camel is chayav. Why he was negligent? But if the store owner put the candle outside, and then the camel came by and lit up on fire and burned down a house, then the owner of the store is chayav. It's just a reminder for the Olam. I know that a lot of people in Mikal themselves that after Hanukkah they're going on a serious diet after all those suganiyat. So because you didn't accept, you were on diet for half a day, here's a good time. A reminder, I know it's after Hanukkah. Oy vey, oy vey, oy vey. That's one. This is the second one. Supposedly there's a better version today. And this is ours. That was the first one was official. Shout out to Ner Tamid. And you didn't put it in the hour one? Gary, you didn't get it. Okay.
I'll put it in.
Pretend it's in. It's in. And this, Rabbi say, that's ours. I don't see the difference, but okay. It's only 9 seconds. Omer Ravina Mishmei de Rava. Says Ravina, in the name of Rava. Shema min Omer de Rabbi Yehuda, you can see from the Mishnah, Ner Chanukah mitzvah lanicha b'seich Sara. You see, there's a dalet over here. That means that's the halacha l'maisa. There's a mitzvah to put your menorah below 10 tfachim, like that high, below this. Okay, I don't know exactly. Something like this, a couple of feet high. It's a mitzvah to put it low. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't go below 10 tfachim in this world, but on Chanukah they say he does. Like you put it below, he goes to the menorah, put the menorah below where he's at. Because if it would be okay to put your menorah above 10 tfachim, then why does Rabbi Yehuda say that in Ner Chanukah you potter? Yesterday was also the same time that the F-35 went by? F-16. No, he said F-35. He knows about these things. 5-minute warning for shear. Exactly. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Ner Chanukah potter. Why? That if you could put it above 10, so put it above 10. Why are you putting it below 10? And then you say, oh, it's not my fault. It's Chanukah. You should have put it high enough to avoid the camel and its rider from hitting it and burning things down. You see from here, it's a mitzvah to put it below 10. Amri loy. No, not a good raya. Now, the Rif and other poskim, Rishonim, they say that we stay with Rava's vart. The Rava says, you see from here that you should put a menorah below 10. Why? Because otherwise, why would Rabbi Yehuda say that it's okay to put your menorah in the street? Put it really high where it avoids the camel. The fact that the Gemara says now, loy, that's a classic style of the Gemara to say, you don't have solid proof. I could go this way, I could go that way, I could say something else. But at the end of the day, Rava really felt that that's the halacha. So therefore they paskin like that. You should put your menorah below 10 tefachim. Which I do have to mention that the whole point of Ner Chanukah, why could you put it outside, right? I forgot to say this. Because he's supposed to put it outside of the store. He has the right to put it outside the store because of Pirsum Nisa. It's better to put it outside. So I mentioned this, I was in Chicago, it was like Daf Yomi, so I guess I was in Chicago still. And Mark Ashkenazi and Uncle Phil and a bunch of people, they sent me the following day, because I said this in Shir, I said, it might be from the only people in Chicago that light outside when I used to live here. So they sent me a glass box and a menorah and oil. They figured I don't have time to this. And at the end, I didn't use it, unfortunately. Or fortunately, I was here in Israel. Says the Gemara, no, maybe the halach is you could put it above 10 tfachim. So what's your claim? So then, why should you be potter on Chanukah? You should put it above 10 tfachim. Keep it the mitzvah, since he's doing a mitzvah. We didn't want him to go be matriach or Rav Kahana. In other words, we don't have to trouble him to go above. It's Chanukah. Let him go below. And if there's a fire, it's not his fault. Omer Rav Kahana. Darish Rav Noam. Bar Minyumi Mishmei de Rebbe Tanchum. He darshan ner Chanukah shenichal malam esrei amma. If you put your Chanukah candles above 20 amma, which a lot of us do because we live in apartment buildings, psula, it's not good. They say today might be different. You're also facing other people that are at that height. Kesuka ukemavui. So we have a couple of pictures from the famous Klal Yisroel in Chanukah in sukkahs. One of the reasons you can't have a sukkah that's over 20 amma, which is approximately 40 feet, because then you won't remember that you're in a sukkah. You won't see the schach. So also when it comes to Chanukah, you won't have Pirsum Nisa. A mavui is when you have an alleyway between the chatzeres, between different courtyards, so you're not allowed to walk in the alleyway because you might come to walk into the public street. But if you put a beam across the alleyway, they'll remind you that you're in an alleyway and you won't carry into the street. So what if you put your koira really high, above 20 amma? It's possible. So too by Ner Chanukah. There's an interesting thing. We're going to get to Pirsum Nisa. Look into this because I really want to know if this is true. But Rav Zilshin claims that there was a missile that hit a shul, and they want to know if you should leave the missile hit a wall to remind people of the nest that it happened 2 minutes after the last mispalel walked out of the shul. And he talks that maybe when it comes to shul, you should have a nice shul. You shouldn't have a broken wall.
They left all the bullet holes after the Harnof massacre. They left it in the shul. You can see it now.
Really, all the bullet?
Shul that's full of bullet holes. They left the hole in the window.
The Ramban says on this week's parsha, boys, from Hashem. He says, how come Moshe Rabbeinu didn't daven that he shouldn't be a kfat peh? How come HaKadosh Baruch Hu didn't take away his speech impediment? Because Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to remember why it happened. It happened because of a nes that Hashem did to him, that he took the coal instead of the gold. So he wanted to remember that for the rest of his life. There's sometimes that you leave a nes out there. So, Hadran al chakoines. Rabbi Isai, I know for myself, and somebody came over to me after last night's shir and said the same thing with me. So I want to say this. When I used to see the word meruba, I used to get really nervous. Meruba is like izaneshach, it's like wow, scary stuff. It's easy. It's not easy. It's just like it's a self-made trauma kind of thing, right? Like you're asking to me. Listen to this. It's easy. When it comes to gneva, when a person steals something, you have to pay 2 times the amount. If you're a gazlan, you do it at night, you don't pay 2 times the amount. But there's something called tashlume arba v'chamisha. Not only do you have to pay twice the amount, sometimes you have to pay 4 and 5. But only when you steal a sheep, you pay 4 times the amount. If you sell it or slaughter it, you kill it, you shecht it. If you steal a cow, you have to pay 5 times the amount. And the difference is, they say, the Gemara says, because when you steal a sheep, you're embarrassed. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has Rahmanas on you because you had to carry the sheep. It's smaller. This guy walks on his own, so you have to pay more. It's a special halacha by a cow and a sheep, and that's it. Says the Mishnah, you should know that when you pay kefil, there's something extra that doesn't happen when you pay 4 times and 5 times. Miruba midas tashlumi kefil midas tashlumi arba v'chamisha. Shemidas tashlumi kefil noyegis bein b'davar shesh beruach chayim bein b'davar shein beruach chayim. When you steal something, you can steal a bike, a computer, gold, silver. You have to pay double. It doesn't have to have life. But 4 and 5 is only by 2 items, a bull and a sheep. Now, if you steal from a ganav, you don't have to pay kefil. I had a whole argument with my chavrusa, and Baruch Hashem, I found I said that you're not a ganav. If you steal from a ganav, you're not a ganav. He had no right to take it. It's not even in the property of the guy that was stolen from, and it's definitely not the ganav's. He said, no, it became the ganav, the whole thing. And the tzais agrees to me, and everybody else agrees to him. Fine. But you don't pay kefil if you steal from a ganav. And certainly, you don't have to pay 4 and 5 if you steal from a ganav and then you shecht it or sell it. Now, let me ask you a question. We learned, if you are a shomer chinam, you're watching somebody else's sheep, and you have a big taiva for lamb chops, so you decide to steal it. Comes the guy, the owner says, give me back my sheep. And he says, you know what, it was stolen. You're a shomer chinam, so shomer chinam doesn't have to pay if it was stolen. Then we find out you stole it. How much do you have to pay? You have to pay kefil. Because since you want to steal it, you did a tainas gneva, you have to pay kefil. Question for the olam, you have to pay kefil. What about if you went ahead and you shechted it for lamb chops? Do you have to pay 4? Huh? Nobody knows? You say yes, it's the same thing? Same thing. Okay. So that's what we're talking about right now. V'ilu says the Gemara, midas tashlumi kefil leheges be beganav be mitoyin tainas ganav. Why didn't the Mishnah say another difference between the 2 payment and the 4 payment? That what? When it comes to kefil, by a shomer chinam that lies and says it was stolen, here. Kitein ishal reu kesef kelim lishmor. He gives him, the pasuk says, your shomer chinam v'gunav, and it was really stolen, and the ganav was found, he pays kefil. So you're a shomer chinam, certainly shomer sachar as well. You claim that it was stolen. So now, as you see in this chart, the shomer chinam that claims all the way in the left top corner, he claims that it was stolen, he's potter. But if we find out that it was actually not stolen, that you try to steal yourself, so this actually is Yoshi as a young daughter. I guess it runs in the family, and she did this for us. He says, where's the para? He says, I don't know, Mistama was stolen. And then you see the cow picking its head out. So that's Toyin Tainas Ganav. The shomer, the watcher, claims that it was stolen. So what does the pasuk say? So, before we get to the pasuk, so I have a great difference. When he claims that it was stolen and we find out that it wasn't stolen, he pays twice. But if he actually went ahead and shechted it or sold it, he doesn't pay 4 and 5. So it's a big difference. Here's a case that you pay twice, but you don't pay 4 or 5. This is a great raya to Reb Chia bar Abba, that there's no difference between kefil and 4 or 5. If he went ahead and he shechted it or he sold it, and therefore it's not in the Mishnah because it's exactly the same. Just like a shomer chinam would pay twice, he also has to pay 4 or 5 if he went ahead and he sold it. And that's how he paskin. And some say is a little weaker. Let's say that it's a raya. Fine. But the Gemara says, Miktani ain bain. You're saying as if the Mishnah is giving us a whole list of all the differences. There's only one difference. No. All the Mishnah says meruba. There's more. There's something different about kefil than 4 and 5. I'm not giving you the whole list. Meruba katani, ton of shir. There's other things in the list that I'm not going to bring down. Now, Rabbi Yisai, I know people get very nervous when it comes to klal, prat, and klal, but not in our shir. Everybody knows klal, prat, and klal. And if you don't know, there's the Yerushalmi guy that comes around there. He looked at me after shir. He says, "This is the first time in my life I understood klal, prat, and klal because it's so simple. Take a look what Yoshi did here. Unbelievable." Here's a ganav, and it says on a sticker, "I'm not a daffer." Okay, he's a ganav. So when the Torah says, let me just show you, before I do this, let me show you real quickly the pasuk. I'll call dvar pesha. What do you chayev shnaim shalom? Says all the way at the end, yishalom shnaim, you pay kefil. On what? I'll call dvar pesha in red. On everything. Anything you steal, on computers and bikes also. And then all of a sudden the Torah says in purple, al shar, al chamor, al seh, al salma. Only on 4 things. 3 animals and clothing. And then the Torah says, I'll call aveda. On everything. So that's what we call a klal, everything. Very specific, a prat, only these 4 things. And then another klal, I'll call aveda. So the rule is, When you have a klal u'pratu klal, the second klal comes to say it's everything, but it has to be similar in some way to the 4 items. So what are those 4 items? They're not similar because one is a suit and the other 3 are a donkey, a bull, and a sheep. So let's see in the pickup truck. The Torah says you're chayiv to pay double for every item in the world, even a carbon with a shtreimel, even a star, even a chicken, a slave on the top, everything. Then it says shar chamar set, so we just limited to only 4 items. Everything else went out of the pickup truck. But then we say klal, so now it comes to include more stuff, like a chicken, but not a star, not kachim, not a slave. And that's it. That's the whole klal about the klal. Let's see for now. The Torah Rabbanon kol minani mili. How do you know they have to pay kefil on everything? The Torah Rabbanon kol dvar pesha klal. I'm sorry. How do you know they pay for a bal chai, something that lives and that's worth money? The Torah Rabbanon kol dvar pesha klal. Al shora chamar seval salma prat. It's an exclusion. Al kol aveda chazav kol comes to has the article call it to klal? What is klal in the article? Generalization, specification. Chazar v'kol klal upratu klal. When you have this, then it has to be similar to the 4 things that were listed. Ma prat mefurish davar metaltal. You can lift it, you can move it. V'gufei mamen, and it itself has intrinsic value, unlike a shtar, a document that doesn't have value. It just says so and so owes me. I've called davar metaltal v'gufei mamen yatsu. So what does it come to exclude? Karkais, land, sheina metaltal, you can't lift it. Yatsu avadim, and slaves, shuk shul karkais, because there's a haggis between a kark and a slave. Yatsu shtarais, and also documents that say that people owe you money, shafa bishim metaltal, and even though you can lift it, and gufim mamen, they don't have intrinsic value. Yatsu hagdish, and it comes to exclude a carbon. Why? Reyei uksiv, from your friend, not from Hashem. As the Gemara, Yima prat mefurish davish and evlasim metam and magomasa, we had this. Our boys, we should know this. Magomasa means that if you touch something that it's avatuma, you yourself become tamei. So just like a bull, a sheep, and a donkey, you touch the dead body of, you become tamei. I've called davish and evlasim metam. It has to be. You said it has to be similar. So let's go all the way. Similar magomasa, avaloy his life. So maybe it comes to exclude if I steal a chicken, I don't have to pay 2 chickens. Says Gemara, but that's impossible to say that. Vasalmuksiv, one of the 4 things is clothing, and clothing doesn't become tamei. It doesn't become a tumah. It itself is not a tumas neveli, yet it becomes tamei. It itself doesn't give off tumah. Amri anam be'balei chayim kamrina. We're talking about livestock. Ema be'balei chayim. Davashin nevlasim metamim magomasa in. Davashin metamim magomasa loy. Maybe within the live things. But a chicken is live, so maybe I could exclude chicken. Says Gemara, the kol chad v'chad klalu prab b'apin nafshei darshin lei alav oifais loy. That what? Hold on, I skipped something. Ema b'balei chayim davashin v'lasoi. Amri anam be'balei chayim kamrinon. We're talking about live things because yes, you're right. One of the things is clothing, but don't forget it says 4 words. So based on the other 3 words that talk about animals, let's say it should be exactly like those animals that are metama. Birds are not metama, only if you're a kosher bird, only if you put it in your mouth. So Mela, maybe let's exclude, the Gemara asks, let's exclude kefil from chickens and birds. Rabbi Sai, have a wonderful day. Shir la maloi, sesoy na elo remayin yovo yezri. Ezri mi madino yo yisei shomayin voret. Al yitei lama draglecha, yonum shimrecha. Yinei lo yonum lo yishon, shimei Yisrael. Adonai shemrecha, Adonai tzilcha, yad yiminecha. Yoyim hashemesh lo yakekov, yoreyach baloy lo. Adonai shmecha mikol ra, yishmor es nafshecha. Adonai yishmor zizcho v'yecha, me'atov yadi lo. Achen go es Yisrael, Adonai tzar shiv yom zivim v'yom v'yim v'yavash v'mogim rachim v'levim tzivim tzol v'v'chom ha'feil lo yom shiv l'gula. Hashtov v'lov zman korim, v'nimah.